What's going on? Welcome back to the Look Mum, I'm Hustling podcast. I just did 4 intro takes and they were too fast, so I need to slow it down.
Slow it down, yeah. So
Triple shot this morning.
Oh yeah, you've had quite a bit of coffee already. But that's a given. Usually by midday, you're probably like 5 coffees deep most of the time anyway. So yeah, there's a lot of coffee. I always say you drink too much coffee.
I wonder how many coffees you have before you just really gonna fall over and die.
Probably like
I don't even know how much milligrams is in like a cup of coffee, because obviously the milligrams is the most important thing, and it depends on the type of beans and the extraction method and things like that.
usually a standard's 30 mil.
A 30 ml shot.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So usually that's what one standard coffee is.
Yeah, but how many milligrams of actual caffeine in that? It
Like
depends on the extraction method.
Right. I was saying like on average there should be 30 milligrams of
I think it's
coffee per shot.
I think it's actually less.
Is it?
I think it's they weigh it. They're supposed to weigh it, right? I think it's like 28 grams.
Right, because I know like when trying to get pregnant and stuff, like pregnant women can still have coffee, but they only can have like a maximum of like 30 milligrams per day. But that also includes
Milligrams or mils
milligrams
of caffeine.
Yeah, 30 max.
It doesn't seem like much, because you have like a Red Bull's got like I think 200.
Well, that's what I mean. Like people say, oh, that's just coffee, but then someone might have a soft drink or someone might have like a green tea or whatever it is, and they've got like caffeine in it as well. So you've just got to be careful.
All right, one shot of espresso is generally about 30 to 50 mils.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be of the actual drinkable portion, not how much of the actual coffee grounds goes into it.
Yeah.
And that contains about 63 milligrams.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was in the hundreds or 200s.
No, that's why there's like the whole thing about energy drinks aren't good for you, because they have triple the amount of like your normal daily intake of caffeine.
My nutrition background. How much caffeine in a 250 ml Red Bull? 80 milligrams. I thought it was like.
Well, you know how we're talking about the prime drinks, and that was the whole thing of like they had like 100 milligrams of caffeine, which was like too much, and that was like why they were banning it in schools.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Man, I got my numbers off.
Too much caffeine.
Have you ever seen the Red Bull syrups they have overseas? I think they had them in Vietnam when we were there.
No.
It's just straight syrup,
right.
Obviously like a cordial, but
like a Coke syrup and stuff, and you just have to mix it with like soda.
Like a Soda Stream
syrup.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Red Bull syrup.
Ugh. Be disgusting. I was never a Red Bull fan. I was always a V drinker. I preferred V than anything else.
I don't think they have it overseas, do they? They have like Monster and everything like that.
Must do. Interesting.
I think it's not even Red Bull. Bring it up. I remember seeing it back in the day.
Like an energy drink syrup?
So it's exploring Krating Daeng, the Red Bull alternative.
Ah, so it just looks like Red Bull. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
and
like a ginseng type thing.
$2 in Thailand, 10 baht.
I wouldn't say it's good for your health.
Well, they probably wouldn't even have the 1,000 milligrams of taurine. I wonder how much caffeine. Because I'm trying to figure out at what limit will I give myself a heart attack. So it has 32 milligrams per 150. But that doesn't seem like that much. Has 33 less caffeine than Red Bull. It must just have all the other stuff, all the
sugars and
the taurine and stuff must get you
buzzed.
I was going to say high.
Buzzed.
Okay, so 80 milligrams is in a Red Bull.
Yeah.
So as long as it's not, I guess you want less than that, right?
Yeah.
Unless you do want heart palpitations.
No, like a little bit of coffee is good for you. It's fine. Like there's a, what was This Is Your Mind on Plants dude? What was his name?
Michael Pollan.
Yes, yeah. So he went on a coffee detox for months and months and months, and then when he went back onto coffee, he said it was like a trip experience, like it was being on drugs. So obviously, like a little bit of coffee can be good for you. There's some science and stuff that backs it up. Good for your, I don't know, your heart or your whatever, your cholesterol or whatever. One of those things.
You're asking the scientist.
Yeah, but too much coffee is really, really bad for you.
Interesting.
And then like I know Andrew Huberman, who's like big on nutrition, but he's also like a neuroscientist, says you should wait 90 minutes in the morning before you have your first cup of coffee, because
90 minutes, yeah?
Yeah, 90 minutes is what he says, because, you know, coffee is very addictive, but it only takes about 24 hours for it to cycle out of your system anyway. So as long as you wait.
It has a half-life of, I think, 8 hours.
Yes.
8 or 12 hours. I think it's 12 hours.
Yeah. So if you have a coffee at like 3 and then again at 8 a.m. or like at 6 or 7 a.m., you haven't really given your body the time to detox, I guess, from the coffee. So yeah, they say it's good to wait.
I'm getting a lot of this is the problem with science, guys. Varying reports on its half-life. Some say 3, some say 7, some say 5. Let's just take the higher end of like 8. So yeah, if you have 100 milligrams, 8 hours later, you've still got half of that in your system. You got 50 milligrams, and then 8 hours after that, you've got half of that 50. Then you got 25. So that's why you don't want to have it too late in the day. I remember when you used to work, you were working at the Liverpool store at some point, I think. I remember seeing there's a big Starbucks outside that Liverpool centre.
Homebush?
No, not Homebush.
Never worked at Liverpool.
Parramatta? I think it's Parramatta.
I did 2 weeks there.
Yeah, well, I remember it. There's a big Starbucks there on the corner. Or a Gloria, I think it's a Gloria Jeans on the corner. And everyone's getting coffee at like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
I have one at 5 and
That's way too late.
I have one at 5 and I'm wrestling you in bed half the time at 9 o'clock. And you're just
a lot of times, just let me rest and stuff, because I have a big thing, like I don't drink coffee past midday. So as soon as it hits midday, I won't have coffee, but I'll tend to, I actually used to drink a lot of coffee, but I only drink max 2 a day now, so not usually any more than that. Sometimes just one, sometimes 2.
Have you ever felt tired after your second coffee? You're like, oh, I've had one, I'll have a second one, a couple of hours later and you feel more tired?
Oh, I can literally have a nap after drinking a coffee.
The first one, usually not though.
I've done it before. Depends how tired I am.
You can do it, but generally, I think someone was telling me this ages ago. The amount of, or how hydrated you are has an impact as well. If you're super dehydrated and you have a second coffee, it basically binds to receptors and stuff in your body.
Right.
Which make you, I guess, want to fall asleep or become more tired. Whereas if you're super hydrated, then you have your second coffee, you don't get tired. Obviously, this is individualized as well. Different people have different responses and things like that. But I mean, I'm prone to a nice little affogato at dinner for dessert.
When was the last time you had an affogato?
I mean, you've been working late these last couple of days, so I might have snuck a couple in.
Snuck an ice cream. But yeah, sometimes I think the latest you had a coffee once was like 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm like, what are you doing? But you slept fine.
Here's some interesting science for you.
What?
Internet is down. Espresso expert. Should we just make this a coffee episode?
No. I think we're just talking about coffee right before the episode, which is
halfway
why.
There now. Caffeine in breast milk. Caffeine appears within 15 minutes in breast milk. That's how fast it generates. You're not generating caffeine in your breast milk.
No, you're generating breast milk. So if you're drinking coffee,
it can appear in your breast milk
straight away. Yes,
which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, because you don't start developing milk until you actually have a baby.
So can you have coffee at all?
You can have the tiniest bit, but if you're breastfeeding, probably not the best.
Within 15 minutes, caffeine reaches maximum concentration in breast milk within 1 hour. Only 1.5 to 3.2% of mom caffeine reaches breastfed baby. Oh, so it can appear in breast milk, but very little actually reaches the baby. Conclusion: no effect on breastfed baby with mums that take moderate intake of caffeine. There you go. It makes sense. I'd never really considered it. I don't really produce breast milk.
Yeah, that's why. No, well, that's why. Like, if you want to go drinking, they pump their boobies and have like a whole bunch of stored like breast milk, so they can have like a drink or a glass of wine, because the alcohol ends up being in the breast milk.
It takes a day to filter out or something.
Yeah, so you just got to make sure.
It's very unscientific for someone who has a science degree and someone that works in sales.
Yes, that's us, all the experts.
We're hustling.
Yeah, that's all we do. A lot of secondhand information.
Should we just click through every coffee-related infographic and just talk about it?
If you want to. Don't have to.
I'm just curious as to, I guess, what's the healthiest type of coffee? Just black coffee, right? Without all the sugars and the creamers and things like that. So 1 cup of this is what I need. Because we usually have the Italian coffee for the mocha pot. What else is it called? The
percolator.
No, it's not a percolator.
It is called a percolator.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, that's a percolator there. Plunger.
No, that's a plunger. Search percolator. I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, percolator it is. Wrong again. That's 101, me 0. We usually have one of those, so that's 80. So yeah, we're pretty like a normal coffee we're having is the same as a Red Bull anyway.
Yeah.
I think the sugar is what does most of the damage. Long
But
black.
there you go, 2 espresso shots. So if you're having double shot,
Well, we're not having double shots in that thing, are we?
no, but like right now, so you're currently drinking 200
Oh, 200
milligrams.
milligrams. Whoa, that's a lot.
And you have 2 of those a day, so you're drinking
I'm not
400.
getting hey.
Well, even that plus 2 home coffees, it's like 400 milligrams.
Shit.
Yeah, it's a lot of coffee.
It is a lot.
Mm-hmm. Green
Coke,
tea?
49. Green tea,
See, even
30.
green tea has quite a bit as well, 30.
It's equivalent to a third of a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So what would be...
Can of Coke, 49. It's heaps.
Yeah, I think it's the sugar that messes you up, for sure.
No, this is not including sugar. This is just purely caffeine.
No, but like obviously the caffeine content in these vary, but in terms of the overall consumption of the beverage...
Oh, yeah, you said every time you like drink something like that, you get a headache from the sugar straight away.
Insulin, your glucose levels, blood sugar and all that stuff just goes crazy. It just... I mean, you want to talk about a coffee crash where, you get high for a little while, then you crash. Sugar's probably...
worse. It's heaps worse. Yeah, 100%.
So, long black. I mean, I'm not drinking a long black, though. That's 2 espresso shots. That's the equivalence, too. But, I mean, I'm having 2 shots, so, yeah. It's
well, 1 espresso shot's 100. So, if you're having 1 short black, it's just 1 espresso shot. So, you're having... That's how much coffee you're having a day. Caffeine. And it's not, and we're not drinking some of this like Nespresso stuff. We actually buy beans, so we grind up the beans. So we're drinking pretty decent quality coffee.
I suppose. Okay.
And we tend to buy like the heaviest strength ones. So there's probably even more coffee in those.
I think it's fine. I mean, this says FDA estimates toxic effects can be observed if there is too much consumption of around 1,200 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, so when you're reaching that 1,000, that's probably when you want to maybe step back a little bit, but maybe your 5 coffees a day is just okay.
I'm not drinking 5.
4?
Further studies, I mean, this is just an article from a random website. There's no link to any scientific references. I'm sure we could go into that if we wanted to. Further studies identified the best amount of caffeine to be consumed a day should be less than or equal to 400 milligrams. About 4 or 5 cups, 10 cans of Coke. That's fucking ridiculous.
That's a lot of Coke.
You're taking in tablespoons of sugar. Or 2 energy drinks. Researchers found that drinking 6 or more increases someone to have a heart disease by up to 22%. If you're a healthy adult, caffeine has no adverse effect and has some health benefits. Even a pregnant woman can still consume caffeine up to 200 ml. So 200 to 400. So, I mean, if I have one of these and... I mean, having one of these is, sorry, if you're just listening, it's just a normal flat white or like a latte from your local store with an extra shot in there.
Yes. But these already have 2 shots in them.
So I'm getting 3 in here.
Yes.
So I'm getting 300.
Yes.
I feel like I need a nap now.
Because like I've got a small one, right? So that's just 1. So you've got like 2. That's why people get mediums, 2 and then 3.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember getting like
So
a medium.
400.
Yeah. Because they're like,
Really
so you want 3 shots? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, just 4 then.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's, when you go to a bar, they're like, we're going to cut you off a bit here. You've had too much a day. If coffee shops can do that.
Probably. Like if you're like sitting and your legs jiggling and you're like buzzing and just be like, and then just talking really, really, really fast and be like, hey, you doing this? Have you seen this? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, bro, we're going to have to cut you off from the coffee. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to cut you off.
Or just
and
give them a decaf instead.
call you a taxi. Yeah.
Call you a taxi.
Because you won't be able to drive because you're just like jittering.
It's interesting. So yeah, 400, there you go. That's the scientific news of the episode. I think the main thing is the time that you're drinking it. Not too early, like you said, wait 90 minutes. We rarely do.
Yeah.
It's a chance for your adrenals and stuff to get reset in the middle at the start of the day and then not too late.
I think the recommended time is like not really past 3 p.m.
I think, yeah. It's same as, this is the problem with Google and 8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah.
A lot of contradictory evidence and advice. You could probably read 20 scientific articles. They're all going to give you different recommendations. It's about trying to get the average.
Yeah.
I would say...
Well, it's big in Europe.
Lunchtime.
Yeah. Well, it's big in Europe to have like a after dinner, like espresso, just to help like with digestion and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So 400 milligrams is something I'm going to have to cut down on. But doing that experiment, like you said, Michael Pollan, How long did he have? Was a year off? Did you say?
It
Or
was like 6 months, I think, or it might have been almost a year. But yeah, he had a very lengthy time frame off coffee
then you come back, it'd be
or
like
caffeine.
that after 12 months, you'd be probably smashing your head into something hard.
Well, you get used to it after a while, right? Like he had zero caffeine. Like I think he was like an avid caffeine drinker, whether it was tea or coffee and stuff, and just didn't drink it for that whole time.
It makes you wonder how long it's been around for.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, for ages.
Or it has to be someone.
Like the Aztecs had coffee, I think, from memory. I remember reading about it, and the Aztecs had coffee.
Actually, no,
like South American.
Where did we read this? There was a book we read. I think we've done a pod about coffee before. Are we living in in the past?
I think so. I think maybe we just did a little like, where was it invented? We might have done a Google search.
I remember talking about it at one point about the difference between tea and coffee.
Yeah. Well, we did a deep dive on Michael Pollan's
I think
Your Mind on Plants.
There was somewhere where they used to drink tea. I want to say England.
Oh, that was England. Yes, they had coffee houses.
I feel like it would have been around way before that.
No, because it got introduced. So, like, they had coffee houses in England, and that's when they used to conspire, and they were worried about the uprising. That's when the tea rooms and stuff started to come in.
And once they had coffee, like, the productivity went through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And they started cutting in, like, coffee breaks and stuff.
Yeah, that's the Your Mind on Plants.
But there would have been, like you said, in more, like, not civilized, more ancient cultures, they would have had coffee beans and mashed them up in a little homemade, I guess it would have been homemade, but mortar and pestles, and then just put some hot water in and drank it.
Well, the cacao plant's been around for ages, so.
All right. So that's the coffee info for the week.
Yeah, not bad.
So I'm going to have to cut down, I think.
I think you should. I think you drink a bit too much.
I mean, my parents drink this like Nescafe Blend 43 stuff all day.
A lot of people do.
Ugh.
That's
rough going.
Mixed with hot water, so.
Every time I offer to buy them like a nice coffee, they don't even know what it is. Your
dad always refuses, but Mum's like, yeah, I'll have one, and she drinks it.
But she wouldn't know what to order if she went to the shops.
No, she's just like, just with milk, please. Just with milk.
What they say with cream in America, cream and sugar, is it like what? Is that just milk?
It's full cream milk.
Okay. Creamer, that's what they call it, right?
Yeah.
Why don't they just call it milk?
I know, because
they call it like half and half is like skim milk.
Yeah, half cream, half normal milk.
No, half and half. I don't think that's half and half.
Like half and half is like half cream, half normal. Like it's like skim milk.
Well, what do they call skim milk? It's a mixture of half whole milk and half cream.
Oh, so they must actually use ew. They must do real
saying.
Cream.
Maybe that's why they're all like way more obese, because it's like the cream is.
Yes, because the cream's a problem. Well, it's like in Vietnam, right? The way they make coffee is with condensed milk
and egg. I mean, we're going there in like 7 weeks. Are you going to try one, like egg coffee?
No, I'll try a condensed milk coffee though.
That'd be egg coffee made with egg yolks, sugar, condensed milk, and Robusta coffee. That's diarrhea waiting to happen.
Yeah, and I'm like lactose intolerant anyway.
And there's not many public toilets around, so it must be a mad dash back to the hotel.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to the runny pants.
Oh, man. Yeah. We drink too much coffee.
All right, so I feel like a Red Bull now.
No, it's just going to give you a headache.
But I used to drink 2 Vs a day because you used to go to the Servo 7-Eleven and they'd have 2 for $5.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I think I only started drinking coffee in like when I was 22. Like I hated coffee, but I realized I was drinking too many energy drinks, like too many Vs. I think it was like when I was on my 3rd or 4th one for that day, I'd be like, I really need to cut back. So if anyone doesn't drink coffee and feel like they should, or being pressured into, or kind of just want to give it a red hot go, I suggest starting off with caramel mochas. It's a really good way to sort of get into it.
Vs have 31 milligrams per 100 mil. So what's a bottle?
Well, a can is 250.
What's a bottle though?
Usually like 300, 330.
350. So 3.5 times 31,
about
100, 110. So 2 of those, 200 milligrams. So it's not that much more. I think, yeah, like I said, the sugar is the big problem here.
Yes. Yeah, and all like the additives and preservatives and stuff. But at least like if you're getting a coffee, you know, it's just like milk and it's just coffee and it's like actual like 1 teaspoon of sugar.
Well, yeah, 1 teaspoon of sugar is 4 grams.
Mm-hmm.
So
but in Coke, isn't there something like 20 teaspoons in Coke or like?
So like a bottle of V is per serving 36.
How much is that in teaspoons?
36.9 divided by 4 is 9 teaspoons of sugar.
Oh, that's so much sugar.
9 teaspoons into tablespoons. 3 tablespoons of sugar and fuck, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's what you put in a cake.
So 1 sugar is not so bad. Like
no,
1
teaspoon. No.
In a coffee.
Compared to like
3 tablespoons. That's per bottle too. You used to have 2 of them. Wild. How do they justify that? I know a lot of the times they would say, you know, on the bottle, it's kind of up to your responsibility.
Drink moderately,
right?
yeah.
Or
drink responsibly.
They will say this is 2 serves in 1 bottle, but no one abides by it. No one reads that stuff.
No. Not at all. All right. Caffeine does wonders. Yeah, you're just going to look at me?
Yeah, I'm just trying to fill the void, but there's nothing to fill it with other than more coffee talk.
Yeah. That's us.
Should one of us try an experiment to see how tolerable the other person is with no caffeine for a month? Would have a headache the first day.
Yeah. I think to be honest, I'd probably handle it a little bit better than you could. Because I'm only on 1 to 2 coffees a day. You're on like literally 4 coffees.
So tapering down.
Yeah. Yeah, because I used to drink the double shots you were, and then I realized I just started drinking less of the coffee and I just wasn't enjoying it as much. So now like I've just tapered down to like 1. Yeah.
It's the milk and the sugar. That's what makes it.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I like affogato. Like, you don't like cold coffee though. I like the flavor of coffee, but it needs a little something with it. I do my best to have blacks all day, and then I'm like getting a bit bored, need a little bit of a sugar hit.
Yeah. Coffee ice cream and coffee cake's not too bad, but actual like iced coffee I don't like.
Really?
Yeah, I like my coffee warm. Hot. Just don't like it. Just don't.
Right.
Not for me.
Coffee. There you go, guys. Let us know in the comments below how many coffees you drink per day.
Yeah. Let us know that you actually listened to this episode. If you actually got through us talking about...
Well, if they've gotten this far, they would know they've listened to a third of the show. So we appreciate you. Also, obviously, we're on every platform that podcasts are available. Check us out. Like and comment.
Yes.
Subscribe. Rating and review. Share with a friend. Tell the almighty.
That was the almighty.
Fuck, this is going off the rails real fast.
Do you want to change the subject
Yes,
then?
please. Another subject, please. I was waiting for you to be like...
All right. Okay, so
I had nothing super prepared for this pod, unfortunately. So I was waiting for you to find some sort of segue out of coffee. I thought the coffee segment was going to go maybe like 6 minutes.
Not 25?
20, yeah.
Yeah. So we've got, there's a few things that I sort of...
Pick one, don't make me choose.
No, I've got like to see what you want to segue into.
I'm too indecisive. Pick one and let's roll with the punches.
So there's the, like we've
Pick
been
one.
watching a little bit of Shark Tank, or have you seen the
Shark
non-human bodies in Mexico?
Shark Tank.
All right, let's go to Shark Tank. So new Australian episode season.
Yes.
I think
what is Shark Tank? Yeah, preface these things. Imagine there's an alien listening and they have their own. Let's imagine we're in Third Rock from the Sun.
Okay. Your favorite show?
It was a good show back in the day. It's a good show.
Yeah.
And they don't know what it is, and you got to teach them, hey, this is the show we're watching. And they're like, what is it? Explain.
All right, so Shark Tank, it's a TV series that's not only in Australia, but they've also got American, UK as well. And what you have is a panel of entrepreneurs, business people, very, very successful people. Usually their income is in the millions and billions. And what people do is they come onto the show and they pitch their idea to get some funding. So whether it's a new invention, whether it's a business, whether it's a food, something like that. And they, have a pitch and they ultimately ask like, hey, would you invest? And then what happens is after the pitch, then the sharks, as they're known, will then sort of quiz the person on their numbers, how they got to their evaluation, sort of try to poke holes in it. Because obviously if they're asking for 100K, 200K, $1 million, they really want to know what it is that they're stepping into. And usually the payoff for the sharks is they'll get a bit of a cut of the profit. So whether it's like 10%, 20%.
Look at equity in the company.
Yeah, exactly. And then sometimes they'll come back to the person. They'll be like, all right, I want 10% for a $200,000 what do they call it?
Equity.
Investment. Yeah. And then sometimes they'll be like, look, I'll give you 200, but for 30% kind of thing. And they sort of have to negotiate.
But it's haggling. So instead of haggling at the garage sales or the yard sales, you're haggling for a piece of the business.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just really, really interesting because one, you sort of get the expertise of the sharks, and not only do you get their money, but you also have someone that you can actually contact and call for a business advice, especially if you're just starting out or if you're young or if you have nobody in your personal circle that knows anything about business. They can kind of help you. So not only are you getting investment in your business, but you're also getting a kind of mentor as well. But yeah, it's really interesting because it's all new sharks this season. So a whole bunch of different people.
Best summary preface you've ever done.
I thought it was pretty good. Hey,
compared to some of the other ones,
I didn't jump around.
You didn't jump just straight into. So this guy's doing this. I love it. Well done.
Pretty good.
I'm not trying to patronize you, but like that was a great summary.
As soon as you start clapping,
you felt it. You felt it. I felt it. The listeners felt it.
As soon as you started clapping, I was like, I'm nailing this. I'm not starting at the end and then working my way backwards.
Everyone at home right now is just like doing the slow clap for you.
Yeah, so Shark Tank. I'll bring it up on the screen. So this year is really, really interesting. So that middle dude, I don't even know their names. This is where I fall down. I don't know any of their names, but I sort of know what it is they're doing, though.
You have to say middle guy. I assume no one's watching, first and foremost. Okay,
so you have like an older guy. I think he's the only one that's in the billions. I think.
I don't have his worth in front of me. So.
But
at least multiple millions.
Yeah, he's actually from the American Shark Tank.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's over here just helping out and stuff, and just he's actually got a very like dreamy eyes, like he's got a smile.
Wait, what's his looks got to do with anything?
Just saying.
There's ugly billionaires as well, you know.
I know. I'm just saying that he looks like a very charismatic.
So you
billionaire.
like the old rich guy look?
Yeah, like you.
I like it's a spectrum. I'm not the old guy. I mean, I'm getting a little bit of grey hair. I don't have the dreamy eyes or
you do.
pearly whites.
You have beautiful blue eyes that I absolutely adore. So you've got, and apologies everybody because I can't remember the name. So you got the middle guy.
The names aren't important. Let's just say there's a mega wealthy guy from the US.
Yes.
Who's on this season.
Yep, does a lot of stuff in the like business supermarket world. Space and like retail and like property development and stuff. Mm-hmm. Then you've got the lady in the orange for those that are watching. She's an AI tech.
She's into AI metaverse expert. We have Davey Fogarty on the far right. He's like a young entrepreneur and he's I think late 20s. Founded the Oodie.
Oodie, yep.
It's big into e-commerce. He's sort of on that new frontier of using Shopify and social media to build interest and build brand.
Yep.
There's a lady named Jane who runs Showpo, which is a women's fashion brand.
Yes, and that was one of the ones she literally started it in her garage and it grew from there. And very, very popular clothing brand as well. And then who's the old mate?
I believe his first name is Sabri. He's a digital marketing expert. You've probably seen his ads on pre-roll of YouTube videos a bunch of times, and he's just good at marketing. So they'll have their own expertise. So depending on the contestants that come in and want to pitch their ideas to the sharks, depending on which one of the sharks is interested in taking up putting up an offer to be part of the business and give them money to run the operations. Yeah. If they get each of the sharks, if the contestants get each of the sharks to submit an offer, then they can kind of pick and choose who would be the best fit in terms of what part of their business they need to grow more, whether they need to get a marketing expert or a retail expert or a technology expert. So it's kind of got all your bases covered, hopefully.
Yes.
But it's just for us running this small little hustle operation, running an eBay, thinking about other small businesses and ventures we can start in the future. It's just a fun and lighthearted show where you can kind of understand the terminology and how business decisions are made and partnerships are made and things that you may be neglecting about a business or perhaps have overlooked. Sometimes there's brands that have only done a couple of $1,000s in sales and they're trying to raise $200,000, and the sharks are kind of asking them, where are you getting your valuation? How are you getting your customers? It just gets you to think on more of an entrepreneurial level.
Yes.
And there's not much like this on TV in terms of just easy consumption business info.
No, 100%, because and that's what I still like, they sort of push back a little bit, but they're like, all right, what's your turnover? And they say, is that pure profit? Are you paying yourself? Are you reinvesting into the business? Because, yeah, if they're going to have a partnership, they really want to make sure that the person that you're having a partnership with knows what it is they're talking about and all over it. Like they had one contestant that designed like a science kit and then gave himself like a 1 million evaluation. They're like, well, how did you come
10 million.
Yeah, or 10 million. Sorry. He's like, but I'm giving it to you for 1 million. Like he had no idea because he had the passion for it and he had the love for it, but he had just no like a business savvy.
Acumen.
Yeah, at all whatsoever. Like he was just someone who loved inventing and loved designing, but had no business aptitude whatsoever. And then you had another couple.
You need a partnership on someone that knows the business. You have, it's like I guess like this, I'm just going to use Steve Jobs as an example, but it's not the most applicable. Like there's an operational and then there's like a mark, like there's two sides to the coin. It's very rare that a founder will be able to be an expert in the actual operations as well as the marketing and as well as the finances. The kind of, most people are good in one avenue because that's how personality types work, right? You can't be a boss at everything.
No. So
some people are more like the passion and the founder. Like what's the term we used to use is like the implementer and the visionary and the integrator. So one person's like the visionary, but they might not be good at connecting with people or doing the back end in terms of running the numbers and things like that. They're just purely vision oriented.
Idea generation. Yeah. It's pretty interesting because you had like that science suit in this particular episode that we watched as well. They had a person that designed like a beauty product that was helping with like ice facials and stuff, and then they've been running their business for 2 years, I think it was, like since COVID, and they had good markup, they had good production, a good idea, first to market. They had all these things that sort of ticked the boxes, and then it was a bit opposite where they had 3 sharks that wanted to invest. So they negotiated a deal where they all had like 7.8% each or something to invest in their business, but they spent like $70,000 on marketing, which they absolutely loved because they know that you need to like spend money on marketing to grow the product and all that kind of thing. So that was like the complete opposite where, they had a fresh idea. It was like invented, it's new, but they also had that business mindset around it.
I think for anyone that's listening, you're probably either are thinking about or have started your own small hustle. Maybe you're making a couple of $100 a month. Maybe you're making a couple of 100,000 a year, whatever it is. It's just an enjoyable show. I wouldn't take it all completely seriously. I'd take it with a bit of a grain of the salt.
Because it is, dramatizing to try and get, views and keep people's attention.
It's more about just slowly, I mean, you can go and read a textbook about business, but having the emotions and the stories and the ideas and the questioning and the back and forth is a lot more valuable than perhaps just reading a textbook about how net profit is calculated and distributed and all that sort of technical stuff. Hearing about the stories and the failures and stuff.
Yes.
Super valuable, and just the way to think about just your numbers, like across different industries. So there's, like you said, there's people that have had physical products, people that have had services, people that have had food and beverage products on there, and you can start to see the patterns in terms of what the margins are depending on the industry. So like food and drink is just in terribly hard business or industry to sort of break through in because the margins are so low because the production cost is so high versus the lady that was making the plastic silicone thing for the eye facials.
Yeah.
They're 3D printed. They're so cheap to make, and the markup's like, 10x. You're making for $3, you're selling for 30. Gigantic margins. And it's just interesting to slowly put the pieces together in your own brain of what business ideas you might be able to think about or consider in the future, and then kind of what percentages and numbers are kind of on an average in that sort of realm, if that makes sense. So basically, I'm just like, I never want to do a food and drink product because it's just seems like an absolute nightmare. Most of them fail. You need millions to get it up and running. You can't. It's hard to sort of bootstrap it at the start with $500 here and there. With some products, you can start with $500. and slowly build it over time. But
for something that's very oversaturated, it would be hard.
yes.
So we've seen previous seasons and stuff before. It's usually the unique products that tend to get the most eyeballs or the most funding and stuff. There was the two dudes that designed a like it's almost just like a funnel system in a way to get like water into the gutters to help prevent against fires.
A reverse
it's like
water
a pump.
tank to fill up your gutters with water.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this season, so I'm just looking at the previous Shark Tank Australian seasons. Seasons 1 to 4 were from 2015 to 2018. So it's been 5 years since the last season. Well, what's interesting about this now is the current social media landscape. A lot of the brands, a lot of the people that are coming on as contestants are already making sales or have brands, or their brands already featured on
like TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, so they've already got a following. They're not starting from scratch, trying to build a website, trying to find ideal customer base or demographic, or that sort of perfect market fit to find where their product's going to be in the market or who's going to be interested in it. They can shortcut all that now with TikTok, whereas in the previous seasons, 2015 to 2018, it wasn't a thing. So just the way the businesses operate in terms of a startup or a new small business venture is so different now compared to where it was 5 years ago. So there's actually a lot to learn if you're in this generation or this sort of 2020 plus era of starting a business.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because I think back then it was like just Facebook ads and things like that. You'd probably just run ads here and there.
Spending a lot of money to run them, whereas TikTok, it's all free influencer marketing.
Yeah, the short form video landscape was not around. So I find, and it was a bit of a mix, right? So in this particular episode, they had that younger couple that was on TikTok. They promoted it and stuff that way. Then you had that older couple that had the food, and you know, they're just going local into IGAs and things like that, which would be even more challenging. So it's just that mindset of just understanding how trends happen. And because that, I know I'm jumping back a little bit, but with that beauty product that, like, you know, they got viral on TikTok, they had like a Kardashian purchase their product purely just from seeing it on TikTok and stuff like that. So they said their first TikTok video got like over 1 million views or something like that.
The power of social media marketing now is so incredibly different to where it was 5 years ago. And I guess 5 years ago, most platforms didn't really focus too much on video content. It was just on ads and still images and the actual copy of the post. Whereas now it's all video, and plus TikTok is so popular now, and you know, so widespread. Everyone loves it, or not everyone, but most people in that sort of younger millennial under age demo generally use it, and they're all making content. So you just need 100 people to like get your product for free and use it, make a video about it. And then potential reach is so profound. If you have 100 influencers, let's say they have 1,000 followers each, that's 100,000 potential reach for a product. And all you've done is send out a bunch of prototypes or samples and getting free marketing.
Yes.
Whereas to reach 100,000 people through paid ads is going to cost you
so much more.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
And if you're a new startup and you got, you know, you're bootstrapping it, you've got no money to begin investing it at that level in terms of advertising. It's so incredibly different. It's profound how different it is compared to that sort of late 2010s compared to where it is now.
And that's like a really valid point as well about sending it to not like super popular influencers that have 1 million plus followers or celebrities.
Sometimes.
Exactly, because usually those larger people won't have time to look at your product. We'll probably get sent, you know, hundreds of products. So send it to those middle to low tier ones that do have like you said, like 1,000.
Yeah,
I know there's a particular term for it, but they're the ones that are actually going to see your product and actually talk about it and probably give you a decent review or authentic review as well.
The bigger the influencer is, the more aware that their audience, the audience is more aware that there probably are paid ads or they're getting the products.
Like it's almost like disingenuous the bigger you get. Whereas if you're smaller, you're going to have a little bit more of a loyal fan base. Like that's your original 1,000 kind of thing. Those are the ones that are going to stick with you when you grow to, 5, 10,000, 100,000.
So this is just a rough breakdown of, I guess, the nomenclature of the different influencers. So mega influencers are 1 million plus, macro influencers are 100,000 to 1 million, micro are 1,000 to 100,000. That's probably the ones you want to target.
Yeah.
Because they're probably reading every message. And then nano influencers are less than 1,000.
Yeah.
And so, I guess the lower it goes down the list, in theory, the more authentic they are because they haven't been persuaded or sold out to different brands for different partnerships and things yet, ideally.
Yes.
So it's sort of that micro influencer, 1,000 to 100,000 that you'd probably want to target. It's just so different now compared to just running Facebook ads.
Oh, it'd be so much more different. And I think that's why on this particular Shark Tank, they've got someone who's in the metaverse, someone who's really in that digital space because it's so new. Like, crypto wasn't around, NFTs wasn't around then either. Like it was just the whole online currency, online digital space, it just boomed, really boomed.
So this is why I think it's important. For entertainment, it's just a fun show to see how deals are made and stuff. If you're into owning, operating, being part of businesses, and you want to sort of break free from the 9-to-5 traditional work sort of structure that most of us fall into, and you just want to see what's available on the other side, either if you're starting something or you want to invest in something, just to see how everything's working or get inspired. Because if you have a good idea and you can afford to spend $1,000 getting a bunch of prototypes from Alibaba or China or something, you don't need a lot to get going. You just need really social media content to fuel it, which is kind of the whole, the Gary Vee mantra of just like content, keep pumping it out, bring value. And all these platforms are free, which is the crazy part. You're not paying $100 monthly fee to maintain your account.
No.
All it is time and content. It's wild to think about the opportunity, and it makes me beat myself up sometimes knowing the potential that we could use, even just promoting a podcast. We're not really selling a product per se, but just in terms of promoting anything, it's just free. It's just time and the actual creation aspect.
Yeah, just putting in the effort for it to begin with. But watching something like that, you just get really decent takeaways. Like, how would you know to spend $70,000 on advertising, or, how much money to dedicate to a particular area or things like that? It's just, really, really good takeaways. Yes, again, it's a TV show meant to be entertaining, but if you're someone who is an entrepreneur, you just find these little things exciting because it's not just a standard reality TV show. There's actually some knowledge, and like all the sharks, when they are poking holes in their particular pitch or things like that, you're also learning something from them because they're like, well, how are you meant to get anybody to invest in you if you don't have this ready?
Yeah, it's also the interesting thing is, I'm talking about social media. Most businesses, you don't see them in the early stage.
No.
Whatever, I don't know what the number is. 90% of businesses fail in the first 5 years or whatever. So you only ever see a documentary on Netflix or something online when they've made it to some gigantic level. You don't see them at that first stage,
growing stage.
They're taking on their first investment or their first funding. You never see that stage. People that are, if you're making a YouTube channel and you're documenting the process, that's very rare. Not many people do that of, I'm starting a sneaker business. Here's years 1 to 3 of me making content every week of trying to grow the business, grinding it out. It's always the other end of the spectrum, the success that you see in a newspaper article, on a news station, on a documentary or something. You never really see people at this level talking through like their business idea and their troubles of trying to get things off the ground. So it's interesting in that aspect because they're all at that base camp level.
Yeah.
So that's where you said something after that.
Yeah. No, it is. And like I know we always recommend TV shows and things like that, but Shark Tank is always a really good one, even if you watch older ones.
We should probably watch some American ones, I think.
Yeah, because is the American season like still ongoing? Because I know the Australian one had a huge break.
I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of not probably hundreds of thousands of TV shows in America. I imagine it's probably been going this entire time. If I stop talking, that's where you talk.
Yeah, sorry. My bad.
So seasons 1 to 14.
Up to 14. Far out.
29, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
17,
pretty much
19,
every year.
20, 21, 20. Yes, it's been ongoing this whole time. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we're only up to season 4. They're up to season 15.
And it makes sense compared to the population variance between the countries.
Yes, yeah.
We talk about it a lot of the time is like the size of our population is the size of LA basically.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore...
But our country's just as big.
In landmass, yeah.
Yeah.
But then if you break that down in terms of what percentage of the population is an entrepreneur or business owner, it makes sense that there's only 5 seasons and not 15.
Yeah. And it's one of those ones like, yes, there's like people hustling, making businesses. There's heaps of Australians that are in businesses in general. And I think, wasn't it you were looking at a statistic where most of the Australian businesses owners are actually older, like time frame as well. And it just seems that more of that hustle culture is more in America than it is here. But just Australia has a very interesting thing about the years of business owners. They're quite a lot older compared to other countries.
So this is more of a recent article. Australia placed 9th out of 11 in terms of markets with the most small business owners under 40.
Mm-hmm.
So not many business owners, well, like at the lower end in terms of business owners that are under 40. So very few young people compared to other countries have a small business. Most of them are aged, is that top bar, 50 and over, where like more than New Zealand, more than Singapore, more than all these Asian countries, the average age of a business owner in Australia is 50 or more, which is, I'm not saying it's an old, but in terms of compared to where we are, there's not many people that are like starting their own thing.
No.
And our age anyway, and sort of millennial.
And if you think about it, like the way that, marketing has changed, the way the internet has played such an influential role, like how many of these businesses are just, mum and pop ones just staying afloat.
White
or how
Pages or Yellow Pages, whatever it is. It's Yellow Pages.
Yellow Pages for business, White Pages is for residential.
So if most of them are over 50, I think a lot of them would be missing out. You can turn this off. Most of them would be missing out on the social media boom. Like, look at just 5 years ago, that 2018 to 2023 now, the difference in terms of the platforms that are used now. If you couldn't get a grasp on it 5 years ago in 2018 in terms of running Facebook ads or having an up-to-date website, then there's no hope in 2023 to be doing TikToks and videos if you're Instagram, a 50-year-old plus business owner. So it's just interesting opportunities that are out there.
Yes.
It just makes me want to hustle more.
Always. I mean, that's what this podcast is about, right? Hustling and trooping on and trying to do your own thing.
Should we just cancel the pod and just hustle more?
I mean, it's just an hour out of our day. Like, we can cancel just being on social media for a day.
Well, that's
to like make up for it.
Along with it.
Yeah. But this one's just more about being able to talk and hash it out and stuff. But yeah, it's just very, very interesting that a lot of the Australian business owners are over 50. And yeah, just like how much are they able to, I mean, obviously there'll be some out there that knows all about TikTok or knows to employ people who understand that market. But yeah, how much are they missing out on being able to grow or make more money just because they don't understand technology?
This is an interesting stat. Just looking at this this is from a 2020 article about it's sort of like a census for like businesses. This is interesting. Some interesting stats just for your reference, guys. So this is for the size of a business, right? In the number of employees, 0 employees to 19, so considered like a small business.
Yep.
97.4% of businesses have 19 or less staff.
Right, that's a lot. That means there's heaps of small businesses out there.
Yeah. Coffee shops, mechanics, like every little place you drive by, 19 or less.
Yep.
20 to 190, so 20 to 200 staff, 2.4%. And then 200 plus is 0.2.
Oof.
So many small businesses, and also so many of them fail as well.
Yeah.
But in saying that, looking at the other data we looked at a second ago, most of them are 50-year-old plus for the actual owners.
Mm-hmm.
And then most of businesses are 0 to 19. That means a little team of 15 staff with the business owner of the age 50 or plus.
Yes.
Do you think he really has time to learn social media or have one of his 15 staff be full-time running social media?
Probably not, because you need to
run the business, do the operations.
Yes, yeah. And having staff is expensive but essential, and you can't afford to have them. I guess they might see it as just like wasting time on the internet or whatever it is. They don't fully understand it.
A breakdown of annual turnover. This is 2018 and 2019, so obviously things... Pre-COVID. Let's just imagine they're kind of the same. Revenue for the year, $0, which is obviously not great.
Yeah.
Or less than 50K is 25%.
Okay.
So a quarter of businesses make less than 50K.
That would be, I guess,
side hustles, basically.
Side hustles, yeah. Maybe even, when us starting out reselling, like under that 50K.
Mm-hmm. 50K to 200K, 34%.
Mm-hmm.
So a third.
Yep.
200K to 2 mil, another third.
Wow.
And then the last sort of 6% is 2 mil plus.
Yeah, and then even 10 mil plus is only 1.6. Like that's...
They're the big BlueScope Steels and, Harvey Normans and the gigantic places. So, yeah, I mean, so if you look at these first, even adding the first two together, 200K or less is equaling 60% of businesses.
Yes. That's
I'm not saying give away our numbers, but like...
We're in the 60% margin. We're in the majority.
Well, we're a little bit past that, but you're not supposed to give that away.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just, you think businesses, you think millions and millions of dollars, and it's not that at all.
No, in Australia, it really falls under that 200 or less.
Pretty interesting stuff. I mean, we don't want to break too much down in terms of trying to sound like experts or anything.
No, just scroll up a little bit for the so agriculture. Okay, makes sense because agriculture is huge here.
Retail trade, a quarter.
Yeah.
Accommodation and food, 35%.
Construction's massive.
Okay. Oh, no, that's not percent. We're reading the wrong data.
All right, fair enough.
Don't want to give out incorrect info here.
Okay.
We did that plenty about coffee at the start of the episode.
Yes, that's true.
But it's just interesting to see, combining that with the Shark Tank info, kind of what the potential is, how big businesses are, what's required to go to the next level.
Yes.
Different numbers to consider. It's all very helpful. Obviously, you can dive way into this data and look more into it. But in terms of just starting an idea, trying to figure out what should I be focused on, what's the potential growth for this business, what's the averages, like all this is just important information. Just have in the back of your mind to sort of know where your cap is, or if you're underselling yourself or not having a big enough goal or dream. Like, I think it's all very important stuff.
Yes.
If you want to be a hustler.
No, 100%.
If you don't, like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly. Why even listen to this episode?
Go listen to some
comedy podcasts. We're on the same page most of the time anyway. But no, it's good. Like, it's really, really interesting. Some nice lighthearted stuff, but you get to learn some stuff, especially, again, like you said, if you're in that, entrepreneur kind of space. But yeah. So I think as you're yawning, I think I yawned about 2 or 3 times, tried to cover it up. Don't know if you noticed. Yeah.
I feel like I need another 200 milligrams of coffee now.
I feel like I need a nap and then I'll be able to good to go. Get working. It's been a busy week.
I mean, you can have a nap and I'll just talk through it.
You could. That'll be like every day. This joke. I'm always listening.
You can be one of those people that just paint eyes on their eyelids.
Oh, that's such a good idea. Or just get my glasses and just pretend there's like eyeballs and stuff.
Or you just like paint BORING and then you just like close your eyes.
I think you'd really enjoy that.
That'd be a good tattoo idea.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll be back next week, episode 85 next week. Climbing the ranks, not in the podcast ranking, just in terms of
just in our input effort, I guess.
So I appreciate all you guys listening and hanging out. Please leave some sort of rating or review, or just hit some button on the screen somewhere that isn't the unsubscribe button.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. But just leave some sort of interaction. Let us know that you're listening. Let us know who you are. We really enjoy doing this, and it just love it when we see people commenting or saying they're enjoying the episode or things like that. Or just love some feedback in general.
We ain't stopping.
No, we're going to be here for the long haul. Ain't going anywhere.
We should take the podcast to Shark Tank.
Oh.
We're looking for $3,000 for dog sitting.
Yes.
And a new light. You can have 40% of the earnings.
Yeah, or let's get money to get a rental studio or something like that. Have it off site. Maybe get a shipping container or something like that. Deck it out, And, we'll get ads and all that kind of stuff. So,
have you seen the controversy of the podcasting ad stuff this week?
No.
Okay.
Do we have time?
We don't have time now, but it's something to look into.
Okay.
You know CoffeeZilla?
Yeah.
He's Theo Von and a bunch of the comedy podcasts have been ripped off millions of dollars by one of their guys, the group that does their advertising and stuff.
Right.
And now CoffeeZilla's kind of exposing it all, as the video literally came out this morning.
Okay, easy.
So in terms of scams.
Maybe we'll talk about it next week.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. See you next week.
Bye.